What is going on, everyone? Commodore Lads here today, bringing to you my top 10 chapters of One Piece for the year 2018. Now, I was kind of torn about how exactly I wanted to do this because I was thinking of doing this like on stream, talking about it, with a few, the homies and stuff regarding One Piece. And then I was thinking to myself, man, I want to take the time and just really, just talk about the greatness that went down this year. Because I'm gonna be honest, man, since I've been a fan of this manga, for as long as going back to the end of 2012, 2013, from the end of Punk Hazard, reading weekly up until this point in time, this without question has been my favorite year when it comes to One Piece. Like, from an enjoyment consistently week to week, it's been one of my favorite years without question. This is going to be comprised basically of the chapters that are from basically December 2017 to November 2018, basically from issue 1 to 52. I was going to do it from January to December, but considering the fact that it makes more sense for me when it comes to like the year to year, like from a year to year basis, basically, from week to week, from issue 1 to 52. I think it makes a little bit more sense for what I want to do with this. So this is basically from chapters 886 to 925. 925 that came out in issue 52, and that's the last chapter of the calendar year, or basically the magazine year for One Piece. And this is what we're here for, man. So most of my other honorable mentions I don't have right now, but I will have them down in the pinned comment. But if you guys want to leave me your own list down in the comment section below, feel free to do so. And of course, again, this is just just kind of emphasis on this a little bit more. This is my own personal list, what I felt were my favorite chapters that I've read this year for One Piece. If you guys have your own list, leave me down in the comment section below exactly what you guys felt was the best chapters that you read this year, your own top 10, top 5, whatever it could be. So let's jump into it, man, with number 10. Because number 10, look, I value the story a lot. I really do. But sometimes you just gotta let your inner meathead kind of come out and just enjoy some greatness. And I'm talking about, in particular, chapter 895, Luffy the Pirate versus General Katakuri. Basically, from Snake Man all the way up until King Cobra and Dice Mochi, what was the conclusion of the fight, man, between these two. All this choreography when it came to, handling the fight, the art, just seeing this fight, like, really go in like its final stage was just so damn beautiful. Like, Luffy in the Snake Man form especially, being a little bit more faster and stuff now compared to what we saw with him with, Bounce Man, and Tank Man and stuff. But here, he's the fight was hitting from all levels, man. I just loved it. Like, just seeing like Luffy using like connecting like the Cobra attacks and stuff, trying to reach Katakuri, and then especially the Katakuri. Even then, with the transformation and stuff, this man Katakuri was still holding it down from every angle. No matter what Luffy was doing, Katakuri was still holding on, man. When he hit that Dice Mochi, connecting Luffy and sends him flying down that big hole within the mirror world. And when he had that face, dude, listen, when he had that face with the bloodlust just like dripping out, man, I was like, yo, how, man? Like, this was a pro wrestling match, man. If you want to see my true thoughts on the Luffy and Katakuri fight in itself and my feelings on that fight, there's a video for that. You can see at the end of this one. But look, the conclusion of the fight, I know in the next chapter afterwards, some people were not happy with the way it was kind of done. But I did love like the climatic, like cliffhanger that Oda left us with, for 2 weeks. King Cobra, and then after seeing Dice Mochi coming in, just after like the collision of the attacks they went through, for that one moment, and we didn't know who won the fight. We thought maybe Katakuri because him at the time, and I still felt that he was a little bit stronger than Luffy at that point in time. Could still got the win. But could have gone either way. Obviously, we know the end result for it. But for 2 weeks, we had no idea, man. I thought that was a great cliffhanger to what was a great chapter in Holekick Island for One Piece in 2018. So, number 10 being Luffy the Pirate versus General Katakuri. Number 9, a little poetic for this one because we gotta add another 9 to this one. That being chapter 909, Seppuku. And it's not just because I'm a hard for a certain character, which of course the second half of the chapter itself was massively amazing. But it was the first half of that chapter in itself that I really enjoyed, being the fact that we got to see, for a lot of people who read the manga weekly, for 8 years, we hadn't seen Marco. For me, it's been like 5 to 6 years. Getting to see him post-time skip in Whitebeard's hometown, taking care of the people, the residents there on the island, as like the doctor and stuff. you know, now knowing about more of his abilities and stuff and the way that it works, that it doesn't fully heal you, but it helps, like, you know, ease the pain that's there. And just getting to see, you know, details like, you know, Whitebeard's childhood and exactly his rise to prominence, you know, becoming a pirate after, you know, getting to understand a little bit more of the heavenly tributes and, like, you know, the affiliations and why that if you're not affiliated with the world government by any means, you know, you're just going to end up in a lawless area that there's no one there to kind of, like, watch over things. And Whitebeard had to live through that, man. And just getting to see more of that relationship that Whitebeard not only had with, like, you know, his former crew and stuff, but with what he had with the people on the islands, or just, like, his own upbringing and everything, man. It just made me come to appreciate him so much more. Like, the fact that, you know, Marco's saying, like, with tears in his eyes, it still gets me. It's like, you know, he took his share. He put it on everyone else's tabs and stuff, but all that he kept on taking, all the money, the treasures and all that, was going back to this place because he knew that one day this is going to be the place that he can call, you know, his true home for not even just himself, but for the people of his island, the crew, and everything. And the fact that, you know, Marco's there now, and we don't know the whereabouts of the Whitebeard pirates, it's like, it hurts because it's like, yo, he left everything there for them. That's their treasure, their home and stuff, man. So just getting to see that was just brilliant. And then, you know, Whitebeard and Bakken now being allegedly on the same crew 40 years ago, and then, you know, kind of tying into, like, the rock situation that's going on. So it's like, it just, I cannot wait whenever we get that rocks flashback, man, and just getting to see possibly young Whitebeard, Bakken, but most importantly, man, Whitebeard, Kaido, and Big Mom, if they were all in the same crew, this rocks person must be insane. Not to mention the fact that Garp stopped him, but we gotta keep going for the next parts. Because after everything was there, you know, Marco's saying, like, you know, he wanted to stay on Wano because of, you know, stay on the hometown for Whitebeard and everything because of the fact that there's a chance that Weevil's going to come through, to, you know, go after this treasure that he says, you know, doesn't exist. So he passed on the message to Nakamamushi, you know, to get to Luffy. And then we get Wano afterwards, man, just seeing, you know, Usopp, Frankie, Robin in that geisha outfit looking god tier. You know, them doing, like, their own jobs and stuff of what's going on. You know, it was just really cool, man. Frankie, you know, working with the one dude from way back, all the way from, like, the Romance Dawn arc, you know, that actually built Kaido's mansion. You know, my boy Usopp out here as an Toad Oil salesman. I'll put respect on that. Toad Oil salesman. Robin with the geisha outfit. Then the old grandma, which, yo, it was just so awesome, man. But my favorite part of that chapter, my goal after 2 years of waiting, man, Zoro Judo gets taken in by the ops, and he's about to get that death sentence, man. But you already know that ain't gonna happen, right? Man pulls out the seppuku blade, like, yo, you say I'm the one that reeks of blood, you're the one who reeks of blood, and I can smell it from over here. And this man proceeds with the seppuku blade not only to cut the man down with an air slash, but takes the part of the building. That's my goat. He doesn't care. I know he's supposed to be following the plan, but listen, when your life's at risk, shit, do what you want. So my boy was doing what he was supposed to do, man. But he went there, did his thing. He apologized inwardly to, you know, for Kinemon, saying he wasn't gonna cause trouble, and you know what? He had to do what he had to do, man. But overall, the 909 was a fantastic start, man, to Wano Country, you know, being Act 1 of the arc itself. So that's number 9. Number 8, you'll probably be a little bit surprised with this one being this high up for me, because now kind of going back to Holekick Island, I kind of appreciate this a lot more now. And that being chapter 902, End Roll, which is the conclusion of Holekick Island, of us finally getting out of Disneyland, you know, being away from Big Mom and everything. Just that in itself is already enough to be in the top 10. But now, just overall, in general, I did love 902 and the fact that we got, you know, to see, like, in the beginning of the chapter, like, you know, Sanji remembering the time that he had spent on Zou when he first met Pedro, and then after, you know, kind of coming to, you know, to conclusion at the fact that Pedro's no longer with us, you know. And I said to myself that the very chapter when Pedro had, you know, died, you know, the explosion and everything with Perospero, you know, if he's dead, it sucks. But you know what? He did what he had to do to help everyone. But at the same time, there's always, like, that 0.1% inside of me that thinks, you know, look, Pell survived, right? Pell was able to survive what transpired back in Alabasta with the nuke, you know, when he was trying to stop the bomb and everything from going off, and he ended up living afterwards. So for me, it's like, I saw that happen. What's to say that it won't be the same thing for Pedro, him showing up on shore somewhere afterwards, all destroyed, and you know, maybe Peckham sees him after to heal him up, like, you know what I mean, like. But just getting to see like Sanji saying like, you know, I have regrets about it because like, you know, had I not been in this position, none of this would have ever happened. And you know, Carrick trying to console him, and then just came to see her trying to like comfort Sanji and saying like, you know, don't worry about it because you know Pedro knew this would have to be done, right? And then the one who's trying to console Sanji is the one who's breaking down, needs to be consoled by him, and I just felt like that was really awesome there too. You know, she's trying to like hold down her composure as much as she can, but you know, she lost someone she's known for her whole life, man. So yeah, I thought it was a really beautiful moment. But then also just seeing afterwards too, you know, the kiss between Pudding and Sanji, which, you know, I harp a lot on Sanji, but I'm not gonna lie, it was one of those moments I thought was really awesome. You know, just getting to see the closure on their, you know, their connection that they had with each other during the arc and stuff. I don't know if that's gonna be the end of their, you know, their relationship in terms of them, you know, having a thing for one another. I know it's more Pudding for him more than it is vice versa, but just to see, you know, whether or not we get like Pudding and Sanji something later on down the series, it's kind of, you know, we have to wait and see on that. But just getting to see, you know, that whole moment, like the one thing she asked, that one favor being the kiss, and just the way it was done with her pulling out the memories of the kiss from Sanji, and then that's all she's gonna hold on to is that memory, and Sanji's not gonna know what the hell transpired, which is so good, man. And then you getting, you know, afterwards, Katakuri's past being more revealed, you know, Pelican Eel, which still blows my mind with these kids, man, because, yo, how do you come out here with a Pelican Eel, bro? Like, I'm telling you, Oda's gonna reveal one day some guy called him a Pelican Eel when he was a kid, and it's gonna be, yeah, then I decided to add this for Katakuri. But, you know, just getting to see that more of the past, which I was glad that we got to see more of it. And, you know, it kind of made me appreciate Brule even more now, because for me, I always felt that Brule was more of like a gag character, someone that was just going to be there for, you know, for laughs and jokes, that kind of stuff. But, you know, now it makes more sense with her character, why she is the way she is, you know, looking over her brother and stuff because of their upbringing. You know, this girl that would always watch over him, she got her trademark scar from like, you know, some kid who came in to try and do in Katakuri, instead got her afterwards, and then that led to Katakuri afterwards becoming who he is now, as someone who wants to protect his family. So incidents like that would never happen again, and it makes you afterwards appreciate, you know, the relationship that those two have, and like that's exactly what siblings are supposed to be, you know. And then just getting to see after from there, you know, Big Mom pulling up on the Vinsmokes and the Sun Pirates, and not exactly finding out, you know, the fates of these two people, like the two groups. We don't know exactly, you know, what's going on with the Vinsmokes aside from the fact that they lost their sea at the Reverie. We know that the Sun Pirates, their whereabouts are unknown. We don't know if they survived what happened. You know, Neptune was saying, you know, Jinbei now is finally joined up with the Straw Hats, but we don't know where his, you know, he is, what his condition's like right now. So, you know, I'm hoping that at least, you know, from two people, I hope, from those groups, being Jinbei and Reiju, you at least get those two to survive, I'll be content. Everyone else, look, it was for the greater good. But those two got to be alive. And then, you know, closing off 902 afterwards, you know, with Sanji and Zeph, you know, mirroring the panels of the two of them serving food, you know, for the Straw Hats, and then Zeph doing the same thing for Galley. You know, if you remember Galley from way back in the Romance Dawn arc, from like previous, basically the one shots prior to One Piece itself, from him being there, it was just really cool. Like after, like kind of reading the chapter and realizing, oh crap, that's the guy from way back. I thought it was really dope, and just getting to see that as a closure to Holekick Island was just a really nice, fitting end, honestly, to it. I mean, obviously, some stuff kind of left up in the air. We don't know the results for, but I did kind of find that was a good conclusion. Good conclusion at the very least, though, for Holekick Island. Now, we gotta jump into some big heat, man, because of a certain Daughter of the Year status, man, and that's chapter 918. Luffy Taro returns the favor. We got Luffy going back to when Luffy took out Hold'em. He took him out with the one shot afterwards, man, coming in and rescuing Tama. But in particular, the one thing that it hit me like a ton of bricks, because y'all know how much I love Ace. Ace is one of my favorite characters in all of One Piece. When Tama had said to Luffy, "You reminded me of Ace just there." Like, yo, my poor heart, man. Like, it's just, yo. And it's just like, if I'm Luffy and if I hear somebody saying that to me, that thing has so much value afterwards. Because it's like, I don't need to be a blood brother to you for us to be considered family, you know? And the fact that Thomas saying that to him, it's like, you know, for Luffy, it's like, at that moment, man, you gotta realize, like, you know, even though he's not here, there's still traits and qualities of that man that still being seen within Luffy. Not even just like, you know, the Jet Hawk, you know, the Red Hawk and everything. It's just like, I don't know. I really did love that moment from Tama. Like, it just made me really appreciate, you know, just that little thing right there. Is like, you reminded me of Ace, and just like the little flashback stuff, you know, callbacks and stuff, you know, within the arc, you know, after finding out more of her relationship and stuff. Just so beautiful. And then, you know, just getting even more speak on Tama, especially like, you know, her importance to her devil fruit as well. The fact that, you know, when she was able to control speed, kind of controlling like the gifters, kind of tells me that, again, her devil fruit is going to be super important during this arc. And I really do feel like Usopp's going to have a big part in that, you know, using the Kibidongos to kind of stop the gifters after and trying to, like, you know, lessen Kaido's crew during the war on Onigashima. It's going to be really dope, man. Especially now that fruit, we realize now the importance of it. It's not just because, you know, for a gag or anything. This could pay dividends in the war afterwards at some point. And then getting to see, you know, Law and Hawkins going at it afterwards, which was a really cool little clash, even though, like, you know, ended in a draw. Getting to see that was dope. Luffy, Zoro, and Kiku, man. This is like one of my favorite portions of that chapter in particular, because the fact that they brought back that treasure ship of provisions that they stole, and they brought it right back afterwards to Bakura Town, and then, you know, bringing those people afterwards, you know, it's just like, Cobra Town, should I say. You know, bringing it to like a Cobra Town and just getting to see, like, you know, the reactions to the people, and just, you know, how everyone was, like, you know, going through a state where, you know, our lives are pretty much at an end. Like, we just felt like our, like, you know, life was done. You know, you saw some lady there that was ready to, like, you know, take her own kid's life with a knife right down to the kid's throat. You saw some old lady praying with, like, you know, the rosemary bracelet in her hands that she has, like, you know, the noose right above her after. You know, there are people ready to give up their lives. And as soon as you see that treasure ship of provisions just showing up right there and then, just being there for those people afterwards, so you know that literally our Robin Hood just stole from the rich, gave back to the poor, and just, you know, provided these people with, you know, keep on fighting, keep still on going, you know. And Luffy just doing that with the rest of them, man, I thought was such a really beautiful thing. But, and then that, and, like, you know, Luffy telling Tama that before I leave Wano, I'm going to make sure that a miracle like this is not happening once. When I leave here, every single day, you're going to feel the happiness of having a full stomach. Not going to be eating rice only twice a year. You're going to eat every single day to your heart's content. Or should I say to your stomach's content, to play it off nicely. But I thought it was really beautiful. And the fact that, like, you know, even Ace said that too, like, on parallels again with, like, what Ace said to Tama, like, going way back and stuff to when they knew each other. I thought, man, it was just so dope, bro. And then just seeing her crying after, and then, you know, the cliffhanger with the tombstones, you know, exactly, like, you know, the ghost of Wano Country and everything, like, because that was, like, the one where I said, listen, we're about to get, like, if you remember Wrinkly Kong, you know, Cranky Kong's wife from Donkey Kong 64, I legit thought, look, we're going to get, like, some kind of yokai thing going on, and that's how we're going to see, like, you know, Odin. I would have been like, yo, I would take it. I would not be upset about that. But it was a really cool, like, cliffhanger, because for a while, like, you know, that whole week, we had no idea what exactly Oda was going to try and do with it. So definitely was another great chapter, man. But shout out to Daughter of the Year for bringing, you know, up my boy Ace. You know, the fight between Law and Hawkins, Luffy coming in like Robin Hood with the rest of the guys. Awesome stuff, man, for 918. And then number 6. Because honestly, it could have been either way. 6 and 7 are very interchangeable. But I just went with this because of, you know, two symbolic things in here that I really did love and appreciate because of, you know, how long as a week-to-week reader I've been waiting for this moment to happen. And that is chapter 912, Amigasa Village. Because for a week, we had waited to see whether or not Luffy was going to reveal, you know, to Tama and Hitetsu regarding, like, Ace's death. You know, how exactly was Luffy going to, you know, go about saying it? Was he going to kind of prolong it? We're going to wait a while to see what happened. But Luffy went ahead and said, look, he's dead. You know, and then it led afterwards, you know, Tama being KO'd, and then afterwards finding out about Ace actually being on Wano, and that's how, you know, they had a connection, you know, Tama and Ace after, and the relationship that they had at the time and stuff. And that, you know, when I saw my young Ace, man, it was just like, yo, I miss my boy so much. Like, I know Oda was, you know, planning to do the episode of Ace. I don't know if this is it in particular. I don't know if this is going to be, like, the thing that he was talking about, or maybe there's going to be something later on down the line. But regardless, anytime I get to see Ace, it's something I have to hold very special in my heart because Ace is my boy. And then again, to find out more details on what happened to, like, Tama's village, you know, with Drake having been revealed now as like a headliner for Kaido. You know, he's been like that for a year. Went in, destroyed Tama's village, leaving in the state that we saw it in afterwards. And then, you know, finding out from there after, you know, Tama, you know, being sick and everything, they need to go and help her out. Trying to inform her, get some medicine or something, you know, to, you know, make her feel better because she had drank the water previously that was all contaminated from the factories. So Luffy getting possession of the Nidai Kitetsu, which I was like, yo, man. Because I had talked about this in my Wano predictions video, saying about, you know, the Kitetsu swords. You know, we're going to meet the guy who created it and stuff. And just getting to see that now there's the number 2. We still have no idea where the Shodai is, unless it's like, you know, the Gandhi, should I say, or the Gorosei has possession of it. But just getting to see that I thought was really awesome. The fact that Luffy got possession of it was like a nice little twist. But the thing that really, really got me was Luffy and Zoro reuniting, man. Because whenever the two of them are together, it brings me back those memories of when Luffy went to Orange Island. I believe it was Orange Island. It was the place where Captain Morgan and stuff was at the time. You know, the island that he was at, and just getting to see, you know, those two being together, man. Like, you know how long that long ago that was, when the two of them were. It was just them two. Like now you have like 9 plus Jinbei, you know, coming into the crew afterwards. You know, Vivi being an ex-Straw Hat, but it's like long ago. It was just those two. It's just those two together, man. So just seeing them reunite for the first time in what has been like 2.5 years. I loved it. Like, I loved it, man. Just seeing my boys back together again. And then having Hawkins pull up saying, yo, I heard you're the one causing commotion, not only in the city, Roronoa Zoro, but also Luffy. You know, him having like his presence now being felt, you know, throughout Wano and stuff. You know, with the ship and stuff being on the islands and everything when they had found it. And then they're about to go out and throw hands. And we didn't know what the situation was going to be after. It was going to be Zoro and Luffy. Are they going to body Hawkins afterwards? And then we found out exactly what happened after. So that's number 6, 912. And we got to jump into the top 5. Top 5, man. So number 5 for me, because it's tough. Because it could have been interchangeable with number 4. But honestly, I'm going to go with this one. Number 5 is chapter 920, For Love of Odin. I think it's because of my talks with Recon recently, is that I'm starting to really appreciate more of where Oda is going with this. And I am still a firm believer that when we get this flashback, it could be on the same tier. If not, it ends up surpassing the one we got with Noland and Kalgara way back in Skypiea. Just getting to see like the details revealed, like, you know, Odin's past. And exactly, you know, how his come up was, you know, being the son of Shogun Sugiyaki, you know, him being like this problem child that was just, you know, always out and about in the Flower Capital causing fights, leading him to be sent over to Curry, this lawless, dangerous area where he went in and, you know, reshaped everything. He fought Ashura Doji, one of our new allies now. And, you know, it eventually ended up turning a place that was full of murderous intent, violence. There is no way it could prosper. To something where now, like, you know, anybody can come in here and make a difference in their lives and stuff. And because of that, he went and became, you know, he got the position of a daimyo afterwards. And it was really dope to see that was the reason for it. But then just getting to see after that, you know, the transition from what was said to be like a happy flashback and what was being presented by Kinemon turn into something of sadness after. With the fact that we got, you know, the reveal after with, you know, with Odin being not killed actually in his castle, like, you know, when we heard like he was being boiled, but it actually happened in the Flower Capital. And I really do think that's going to be like our first big switch to whenever we get like a character who ends up dying after in the story and the flashback just comes to an end. I know there's been a couple occasions that hasn't been like that, but we're getting like one where it's like we're probably going to end up seeing, you know, how Odin died and then getting the full coverage afterwards of what happened with Lady Toki, with Hiyori afterwards, you know, when Kinemon then pulled up at the Odin's castle. You know, and then just getting to see, man. Because even though we'll talk about these individuals in a little bit, the silhouettes of the calamities, man, the disasters themselves, King, Queen, and Jack, they're the first two. We didn't even know exactly if that was their names, if they're going to go by the card scheme and such. But, man, yo, when I saw this Titan-looking thing with, like, the horns sticking, I'm like, yo, this man has a living, breathing Titan in his crew, man. Kaido is just sick in the head. But just getting to see, you know, those silhouettes and seeing young Kaido without the beard. He had the mustache still going on, but a young Kaido, man. And what they did to Toki and to Hiyori and stuff, man. just finding out afterwards, even too, when like Kinemo revealing that like, you know, they had support still in Wano with the moon marks on their ankles and stuff, you know, they're trying to find people that can help them out and stuff. But prior to that, you know, even getting to meet like Lady Toki, man, the power of the time through. I know a lot of people were kind of scared exactly as, you know, how this power was going to work, if it was going to make or break the One Piece story. But the fact that it's just an ability that moves forward in time completely, the fact that it was saying like, you know, Lady Toki is someone from ancient history, from the distant past, it's just like, yo, she has seen for sure the Void Century. If not, she is from the Void Century. But just getting to see that. And then, you know, like, how exactly, like, she sent these guys, Samurai Jack style, straight into the future after. It was just, man. Like, she said, look, I'm at the end of my time. Like, right now, I'm at death's door. I know that this is the end of what I can do. So you go into the future and do what you need to do to kind of, you know, fix up the mistakes that have been come into play after. And, like, it was just really well done. And then just getting to see after, you know, them talking about the plan and what's going to be going down 2 weeks from now at the Fire Festival in Onigashima. You know, they're planning to take down the Shogun, Kaido and stuff. It's just going to, you know, because that was a really good stuff. It's like, now that we got all these people, once we get those guys with the crescent moon marks on their ankles together, we're going to have everyone needed 2 weeks from now just to go in and try and take down these people, you know, once and for all, to end the carnage, the history of violence, of tragedy that's been going on the entire time. It was just really beautifully set up, man. And then waiting those 2 weeks to find out what was going to happen after, man. It was just like, yo, it was just really well done. So that's number 5 for the love of Odin. And I cannot wait for Odin's flashback. When we fully get to see the whole thing, it's going to be amazing. All right, next up we have now is our number 4 on the list. And this was tough because, look, it could have interchanged with even number 3, but I'm thinking to myself, nah, my first 3 picks could literally fight for the number 1 spot. So where this is at right now, I think is in a good spot. But number 4 is chapter 925, Absence. This chapter in itself had so much flippin' hype to it, man, where it's like, we start off the chapter the same way we started off way back when we had, like, you know, Perona finding out the news regarding what happened to Moria way back, you know, after the war and stuff. We get like a little connection to that, where we get to see her afterwards finding out that Moria is in fact alive. He's on Pirates Island, you know, going after, like, you know, Marshall D. Teach. We'll get into the seg, but just getting to see, like, you know, Perona, Mihawk, and then, you know, seeing Moria afterwards, I thought was really awesome, man. Just a lot of characters who had such a big focus and stuff that we saw, you know, from Thriller Bark all the way up until the very end of the pre-time skip. I thought was just really cool. Just getting to see him again, man. Like, Mihawk, talking about, too, like, the whole, like, interesting topic that was being brought up at the Reverie after, which definitely has to do with, you know, the abolishment of the warlord system, and that maybe, I guess, it got brought up, and that's probably why he ended up telling Perona afterwards, you know, make your way out of this island, go and find Moria, do what you need to do, because a war is probably going to happen with me and my baboons, so it's best that you make the go. But we go to Pirates Island. Moria is there waiting for a certain man by the name of Marshall D. Teach, yo. And just getting to see, like, you know, the rest of the crew and stuff that was there, you know, Pizarro being there, Shiryu, Devon, like, just seeing Katarina Devon having, like, you know, this Inu Nomi, like, you know, this mythical nine-tailed fox devil fruit, you know, like, she can change, like, the appearances of the other people that she has been around. I don't know if it's like if she just kills somebody and gains their appearance, or she has to have some kind of thing taken from them maybe to have it, but I thought it was so dope. But then seeing Shiryu, man, with Absalom's fruit, confirming that Absalom died, you know, when he made his way to Pirates Island, trying to get a scoop on Blackbeard, and he got axed, he got taken out. And this man that we thought for so long was going to have Josu's devil fruit and everything, right? Because of the whole thing, you know, about Zoro possibly cutting Diamond, and if anything, Shiryu would be the one that ends up getting it afterwards. But Oda threw that out the window. We got the invisible Nomi in Shiryu's possession. It just feels fitting too, you know, Shiryu of the rain, invisible, you can't really see too well in the rain and stuff. It fits perfectly, honestly. But just getting to see them, man, terrorizing Moria afterwards, and, you know, just telling them, nah, man, you think you're gonna come here and cause some smoke? Like, that ain't happening, man. But then we get to see the man of the hour, who we have not seen since the pre-time skip, man. And the last thing we saw of him was a goddamn Denden Mushi back in Dressrosa. we get to see the man himself with a bounty of 2,247,600,000 Marshall D. Teach, yo. This man with the drip, with the beard going on, he's got no pies on him. He's working out. He's in the gym too, man. Slowly but surely, right? There's no difference right now, but it's surely to come. But the fact that this man right here just looking like an actual beast, like he looks like a proper, like he's like a king, man, out here. Just seeing that, him in the conversation with Mori after saying like, look, you want to be on the winning team? You want to go to the NBA Finals? You want to go win yourself a ring? Come and join up with my crew. Come on, ride with me, sail under my flag, and you're gonna be good to go, man. So just getting to see that, and then him kind of talking about afterwards, what was going down at the Reverie, some interesting stuff, regarding like Sabo and the Admirals going at it, the Revolutionary Commanders and Sabo fighting off against, Green Bull and Fujitora, which I thought was just so freaking cool to hear about it, but I would have loved to have seen it. If I think we had seen a glimpse or a panel or something, this probably would have pushed it into the top 3 without question. But just hearing that, Blackbeard now, hearing that some stuff is going down in Wano regarding, Kaido, who resides there. It's the stuff that's going on with the supernovas, Big Mom on her way to, try and chase down Luffy into Wano. And he's realized, what does that mean? What exactly is going on? We're seeing a battle for the throne itself. And I know for a lot of people, they're going to say right away, it's the Pirate King's throne and everything, Roger's throne. But I took it as a double meaning because, look, when we got that thing with him, like, shredding down the bounty and stuff for Blackbeard, in my mind, the empty throne is up for grabs too, man. I can see him talking about that, having some kind of connection to it as well. Again, that picture of him as a kid, crying, looking at the moon. Again, I could see some kind of connection between that as well. But it could most likely be the Pirate King's throne, could be the empty throne, but either one, man, it doesn't sound that bad of an option. But just getting to see that afterwards, and then, second act of Wano beginning right after the conversation, getting to see, Inuarashi and, Shutenmaru, Ashura Doji going at it and stuff after. Kinemon's trying to do his best to convince him to join up, with the Alliance. But, he tells him after, there's no point of me joining with you. Look, I served under Kozuki Oden. That's the guy I'm working with. I am not going to go inside with the Kozuki family, right? You guys, in his eyes, you guys disappear on us for 20 plus years. They didn't know the fact of what happened with Lady Toki and her abilities that sent it into time, but from the way that they're feeling, how they took it, because they were the ones that were there dealing with what was going on at the time. It's like, yo, you walked out on us for 20 years. You legit have been gone from the public eye. Now you come back and want to change up things. You want to make a difference after. Where the hell were you then when all this was going down? So we know exactly what had happened, regarding Kinemon and them being sent to the future, but looking at it from his perspective, it's like, yeah, man, I understand completely where he's going, where he feels from it, but I think it's going to be one of those situations, kind of how we have, with Wiper and, the Shandians and, the two different races and stuff that are kind of going on at the time. I feel like it's going to be like that, where it's going to eventually switch over once, Wano's become liberated. It's like, there's no need for war. Everyone is on our side. We're all in good spirits after. So, just seeing that. My daughter being confirmed safe, man. Look, when she got taken out by Kaido, I was like, yo, Oda, you might have to put me in the game because, look, I might have to come in and swing at Kaido. If Luffy couldn't do it, I'm going to do it. Okay? I'm going to make it happen. But the fact that, she was healed, Tristan coming in, doing his thing, coming in clutch. Chopper, for sure, had to play some kind of role in that as well. But just getting to see her being okay and everything. But she was more worried about what's going on with Luffy, my boy being in prison. It's like, yo, man, come on. If your daughter does not have that same energy, matter of fact, if your own child doesn't have that same energy, that you're not worrying about what your condition is, listen, man. I signed up the adoption papers. I got my daughter of the year. That's my daughter, man. But just getting to see that was also dope. And then, concluding that chapter afterwards, seeing King and Queen. King, the Wildfire, Queen, the Plague. Queen looking straight up like that one person from Fist of the North Star whose name escapes me now, even though I mentioned it way back in my review. But just getting to see the two of them afterwards, the All-Stars alongside Jack the Drag Down was really cool afterwards, just getting to see them, Honestly, when you look at Kaido's appearance, and he looks like a scary guy, but King just has something about him, man. It's like, yo, he's a lot more frightening. He looks like this dude that's just dripped in leather, black leather, just looking like an absolute sicko. And the fact that he's like, you know, perverted, like torture free, kind of like that with, you know, Queen, it's like, man, these guys are completely sick in the head, and I don't even want to imagine what they've done to, you know, former prisoners and stuff that they have locked up, you know, and like, man, just getting to see them finally was really good. But like, just all of that in itself, I thought was really well done. I think one of my only gripes that kind of would have maybe raised this chapter a little bit more, I think, was, you know, wanting to see, you know, maybe something like of a little flashback callback to what was going on during the Reverie with, like, you know, Sabo and them, or getting to find out exactly what's happened on with like Im and like Dragon. And then maybe, I guess, the way like the paneling was done with King and Queen, because it's like when Oda kind of did the thing where it's like, you know, Shitamaru was like walking away from Kinemo, and then like you see right beside it is like King and Queen. I think for shock value, I think it would have been a lot better had they, like, you know, Oda kind of just, you know, made that page with King and Queen like its own thing, so it doesn't kind of like interfere with what's going on with the moment with Shitamaru. Because I feel like a lot of people who kind of had read that part kind of glossed through because they saw King and Queen, and I think that's something that Oda maybe could have fixed up on his end. But all in all, though, still a fantastic chapter. And now we gotta jump into the top three, because top three could have gone any other way. And I cannot, look, if you have this as your number one, I'll be honest with you, I'm perfectly content with it, because honestly, it was my number one for a while until these two chapters came out, and I was like, yo, this is too much. Number three on my list is chapter 903, The Fifth Emperor. Now, I know it's the big moment, you know, with Luffy getting, you know, his, at the time, the highest bounty known in the entire story. But there were things that had transpired, I think, from a long-term perspective in the other two chapters, especially the things that went down, that I feel has a little bit more value, but not to mention what had happened in 925 with Blackbeard now getting, like, a bounty that just goes next level. Like, literally almost a full 1 billion, almost close, you know, what Luffy has. But in itself, though, it was still fantastic. You know, just getting to see, you know, like the news and stuff regarding like Luffy's presence, you know, what he did on Holekick Island now is known to the whole world. The fact that everyone knows now his ties afterwards to Sabo and to the Grand Fleet after. So now he's even more dangerous. Now before it was like, he's the son of Dragon, grandson of Garp. You know, he's like the brother of like Ace, but now he's like the brother of the Sabo. He's got his own troops, like not even just like the crew itself, the Straw Hats, but he's got like a whole squad, man, of people that will be at his will when he needs to go to war and try and go after somebody, or, you know, try and take down somebody. They're going to be there for him. So now, like, the threat of Luffy's gaining even more steam as this is picked up. But just getting to see that, the return of characters we haven't seen in so long, man. Kobe, Helmeppo, just getting to see the two of them, man. Kobe was just really dope, because Kobe, man, was a character I really did like, you know, early on in One Piece. Especially afterwards, getting to see him, you know, at the end of, like, Enies Lobby, you know, just getting to see his growth and stuff. And I'm really hoping that we get to see a little bit more from him, considering the fact that when it comes to the characters that are around the same generation and stuff for Luffy in terms of, like, opposition in, like, the Marines, he is, without question, the guy I think that is Luffy's, you know, counterpart when it comes to the Marines. I know some people will say probably Smoker makes more sense because of what we saw from them prior, but I do feel like, if anything, Kobe's going to be the one that's going to be from, like, a generational standpoint. Someone who's, like, closely aged like Luffy, that will end up being someone that's going to be his rival fully at the end of the series. And, of course, we need to see more time from Kobe. But just going to see him was dope. His observation hockey is absolutely stupid broken. You know, even, like, Helmeppo even being confirmed to be, like, a Colors of Observation user as well, which is great. But then even getting to find out, too, that, you know, Kobe having ties afterwards, like, to the Rocky Port incident, like, the one that made Law famous into, like, you know, being a warlord. So it kind of tells us that maybe there's a connection between the two of them. And let's say if something were to happen, like, you know, they run into each other, they might kind of talk about that a little bit. Or, you know, I really do hope we get to see more of that. Because then we got that reference. It's like, yo, Kobe might actually be a little bit more impressive than we think. But, you know, just getting to see that. And then, you know, the whole thing with, like, you know, Crocodile reappearing, you know, characters we haven't seen so long, reappearing after hearing about the news and stuff. You know, he's kind of doing well for himself. Then seeing, like, you know, Nami and Sanji now have, like, gained new weapons in their arsenal. You know, Sanji gained possession of the raid suit, you know, from the Vince Smokes. And then seeing, you know, Nami now keeping Zeus in her possession. We haven't actually seen anything from Zeus so far, like, going into, like, Wano and stuff. But I'm sure, like, when we actually get into, like, you know, an actual battle afterwards, we'll see whether or not Zeus is still probably there with her. But if she keeps that, man, she's going out here with them L Thors, like, spamming it. Like, look, she got, like, an L1 circle thing going on afterwards. Look, Nami gonna be powerful, man. Shout out to the weather, but just seeing that, the 4 Yonkos being in a full page together, man. From top to bottom, just seeing from Kaido, from Blackbeard, to Big Mom, and then to Shanks after finding out about this news. And then Shanks saying, like, we're close, to meeting soon, Luffy. And then just getting to see the bounty itself right there and then. Your bounty did not decrease to 1,500,000. No, it went to 1.5 billion bellies, man. And it's just a really good conclusion right there to everything that went down there, man. The way to kick off, like the Reverie arc itself was just absolutely beautiful, man. It's a phenomenal chapter, but I think when we look at it from the long-term perspective, Luffy's gonna have a higher bounty than that. So he's gonna have after Wano, I expect him to be over 2 billion berries at the very least. For taking out a Yonko, possibly, I'm certain it's gonna be way higher than that, because then we start to really realize afterwards that Luffy is so close to being king, man, and just from the value, his value as a pirate is just growing even more by the day. So I do feel eventually later on we're gonna get something higher than that, but still, it's worthy of being a #1 chapter, honestly, in One Piece. But for me, that's my number 3, and then we gotta get into number 2 and then number 1, because if I tell you what number 2 is, you more than likely know what my number 1 is. And number 2 being chapter 907, The Empty Throne. So by that, you probably know what number 1 is after. So, The Empty Throne, put it simply, we got Kaido and Big Mom, their ties to the past being revealed. Big Mom wants to go to Wano, try and get Luffy for what happened at Holekick Island, making a mockery of her name. Kaido's like, nah, he ruined my business. You come in here, I'm going to kick your ass. And he's like, you remember what happened in the past? You remember? And he's like, let's get along like the good old days. It's like, yo, when you hear that, it's like, bro, they had a connection. I know we joke around with the whole thing with Katakuri, Daifuku, and Oven. Especially Oven having a similar beard to Kaido, possibly being his kids and stuff, which I think would be a cool twist in itself, but I don't know how believable that would be. But just getting to see their connection and stuff, I thought was really cool. And then not to mention, it could be even further tied that they were on the same crew, because we got to see afterwards, the Legend of Rocks, with Hina, Momosuge and Chaton now being canon characters, from Film Gold now being placed in the manga. I thought was really cool too, and I'm hoping we get to see more of them, because I love Momosuge. Chaton, it's a funny ass design though. He just looks so badass. But just getting to see the Legend of Rocks, the pirate whose era had started way before Roger, and this was the guy that made Garp famous. It's look, if this is a dude who has Whitebeard, has Kaido, has Charlotte Linlin, has possibly Shaki, going back to a detail way back in Sabaody about her being a dangerous pirate 40-some years ago. It's yo, who is Rocks? Who is this person that was out here just balling with the top prospects in the history of pirates ever? It's just walking around with these young monsters of destruction. You know what I mean? It's who is Rocks? And the fact that Garp stopped this person, it's yo. And then the fact that also this guy, the group itself or the person, they could come, if they come back at any time, it's a problem for the Marines. They got problems of their own with possibly Kaido and Big Mom meeting up, Shanks and doing whatever he wants, and Blackbeard doing his own thing. If this guy would pop up, the world is going back into chaos, man. So just getting to hear that was great. And then the Empty Throne itself, getting to see that for the first time, which I was yo, this is straight up Kingdom Hearts, man. Getting to see all the blades, the axes, swords, spears, and everything that was there, just pierced around this thing, and marking all the kingdoms and stuff that had united together to make the world government after, and just having this thing where nobody's sitting on it, because it's kind of to showcase the balance of the world and stuff, that there's no need for a ruler for anyone to sit on it. But we get into that detail after, because that ends up getting flipped a little bit. But we get to see that, and then, Stelly afterwards, him planning, he's going to try and scheme and do something. He wants to sit on that damn chair, and if he does that, he's getting smoked on sight, man. But then you're getting to see afterwards, St. Charlos after trying to take Shirahoshi, CP0 coming through, Stuzzy, Kaku being confirmed now with CP0 and Lucci being there, and thinking Sai and Leo were going to try and do something there, and Lucci's too much, man. He came in with the sweet chin music. But just getting to see after, though, one of the big parts of that chapter was Don Quixote meals guard. I can't believe he's a Don Quixote as well. This man made a face turn of, like, you know, like Hulk Hogan, like in 2002, WrestleMania 18. You know, like, I'll look at that. Celestial Dragons are like the NWO, man. And meals guard was probably like our Hulk Hogan at the time. This dude was rocking with the bad guys. At WrestleMania 18, he's like, yo, I gotta go one-on-one with the Great One. And they had help from, like, you know, CP0 in this case will be Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. They're trying to come in, trying to help him out afterwards. And you know what? He comes in, whacks this dude Charlos straight up, like how Luffy did in Saba Odi. Comes in, whacks this dude and says, nah, we ain't letting this happen, man. Not after what Odahime did for me, man. You know, I'm going to do everything I can to help out. And just getting to see, like, this man making his face turn, taking this dude out, I was just like, yo, just absolute freaking hype, man. So shout out to Don Quixote and meals guard, man, because now it's like, you know, shout out to Odahime especially, because the fact that, like, now it's like she plays a role in, like, you know, opening up this man's head or even like his heart to make him see that, you know, all races could be united. There's not such thing as, like, you know, a bad race or a thing, like, you know, as long as you know how to treat people and you know how to come to, you know, a connection with somebody and just talk with them and just act, you know, just be normal, just be like, you know, just civilized human beings and stuff, you know? To be able to open up a guy's eyes like that, someone of a Tenryubito, somebody who, you know, their mindset is, I am better than you. I rule at the top, you are at the bottom. The fact that she was able to change a person like that was absolutely beautiful. And then, one of the craziest cliffhangers of this year. And in and of itself could have been the number one. But it was Shanks arriving at Mary Shawa to speak to the Gorosei about a certain pirate. Look, we saw him in there. I know everyone's calling him a snitch. Everyone thinks, like, you know, he's working with the ops. But that ain't, I don't believe it, man. I think Shanks is just that dude. He has that much clout that he can walk into any place on Earth free of charge and get whatever the hell he desires, man. The fact that he's able to do that with the Gorosei themselves, talking about this certain pirate, I don't know who exactly it could be. It could still be, you know, Blackbeard, which I think would be the most obvious choice. I know they could be talking about Luffy and maybe, you know, him not being recognized as a fifth emperor, at least to him. Or, again, maybe Rocks. You know something what's going on with Rocks currently, and that maybe something's going to happen during Wano or the end of Wano and they come through. We don't know exactly, man. But that cliffhanger itself was just insane. You know, just getting to see all these big things from start to finish was just absolutely beautiful. And we got to go here and hit number one, man. If you know, 907 was number two. And when I look at this chapter in particular, right? That this chapter in itself, from when I look at the long-term value of One Piece, and it's something that it's like straight up out of Detective Conan. If you guys ever read Detective Conan, you kind of know where I'm going with this reference with Ano Kata. Literally right here in this chapter, even though we had seen this person in 906, seeing this person here sitting on the empty throne, in chapter 908, the reverie begins. Im-sama being introduced to me at the very least as the main antagonist of One Piece. Someone who we had thought for years, or like we didn't even know existed. The only hints from way back, we either go to what Moria said way back to Marineford about, you know, Doflamingo and Moria, you know, when Dofi was saying, like, you know, it goes from an order above, you know, the Sengoku, and it's like, you know, even higher than Sengoku, and I'm thinking, like, it wasn't the Gorosei, man, it was goddamn Im. It was Im-sama. And then, like, you know, Akainu going back, you know, seeing after Just Rosa, like, you know, you're getting orders from someone else higher than you, and it's like, there you go, main antagonist, man, just like showing up. And it would not surprise me if Oda has something later on down the line in the series where we're going to find out, like, way back in the earlier arcs, there's some kind of reference to Im, somehow, some way. Oda for sure is going to do something like that. But getting to see Im just coming up, you know, shredding, like, the bounties and stuff with the pictures that were there, you know, Luffy's, Blackbeard's, Shirahoshi's, but keeping the one that was with Vivi, and I'm just like, yo, like, that in itself, man, it's like, yo, what in the hell are you trying to do to Vivi, man? It's like, I don't know if it's a sicko trying to get, you know, force her to marry him and something, or like, you know, maybe that is the light that's got to be extinguished, but I don't know, man. Im is just like a spooky individual, but just seeing this person with those eyes, man, like the goddamn Rinnegan and stuff, just like looking on at the Gorosei as they bow on one knee to this, you know, high and holy being, man. was just crazy. Like, it's just like, yo, like, like we thought for ourselves, what was going to happen within 2 weeks? Are we going to see exactly what's going to transpire from Reverie before we got switched over to Wano? It's just like, I don't know, it's just a crazy time. It really was a crazy time, man, for a chapter like this to come through. And then, you know, getting to see, like, you know, the Reverie itself actually beginning, you know, everyone having their own talks and stuff. I think it was Bollywood was the guy's name, who's, like, you know, the guy that's going to be taking care of the Reverie this year as the main speaker and stuff. You know, them kind of talking about, you know, how Wano's not, you know, going to be here whatsoever because, you know, they're not affiliated to the world government. You know, them talking about, you know, the Kaido and Big Mom and then Luffy. And, like, I really wish we could have got to see more, but it was really cool just seeing, like, the double spread and, like, all the nations and stuff, especially, like, the little hype that they had with, you know, like, kind of reiterating, you know, every 4 years there's an event that goes down between these 170 countries coming together and just being here for this one moment to talk about the current events going on with the world. And I just love how Bollywood was saying, now, let us discuss the events of our world. When he said that, I was like, yo, that was a dope-ass line. Getting to see that, you know, continuation of, like, you know, Miyosguard's face turn afterwards, you know, willingness to, like, to help Shirahoshi. This was, like, if 907 was WrestleMania 18, this was the Raw after WrestleMania 18, with this guy, you know, confirming himself as, like, a good guy and stuff, you know, I'm here to help you out. I don't sense any danger in regards to Miyosguard, like, you know, trying to turn the tides on them and, you know, trying to screw them over. I don't see that being the case scenario. Because of the fact that, like, you know, if Otohime really did make a change, I can't see that being, like, turned over. Because it really does speak volumes on, like, you know, what Otohime was trying to do, you know, trying to unite the races and stuff, you know, show that, you know, the fishmen themselves are not evil, you know. And that's, like, one of those things where it's, like, I really hope that Shirahoshi at the same time, you know, was able to take those traits from her mom and, you know, being able to kind of, like, build up her own confidence in herself to kind of speak to the people above the surface, you know, let them know, like, yo, we're at peace. Like, we're not trying to do anything. We just want to be, you know, connected as one another, you know. We're not evil by any means necessary. And, you know, I am really having high hopes, though, for Shirahoshi, you know, after seeing this thing from Miyosguard, you know, to kind of help raise her confidence and be like, yo, we got this. And then getting to see, like, you know, Sabo, the revolutionaries, you know, their plans to kind of, like, you know, try and rescue Kuma, you know, like, you know, what they did to that once kind Kuma and him smiling in that little panel. It's like, yo, I never thought the day would come where we would ever see a smiling Bartholomew Kuma. Go figure. Go figure. Like, we actually get to see something like that. And then them saying, like, you know, it's do or die, this mission. What we're about to do right now, is there's no second chance, there's no third chance. Either we're taking Kuma by force and getting ourselves the hell up out of here, or we're dying right here, man. And it makes you wonder because, you know, Dragon's not there back at the Kambaka Kingdom and stuff with the rest of the girls and everything. But it makes you wonder, he's probably lying in wait, waiting to see what's going on, especially, you know, with time passing. Is he there right now speaking with him? Is he at the Reverie speaking with someone? Like, you know what I mean? Is he waiting in the shadows? We don't know exactly, but we know this was the prelude, you know, with Sabo and the Rev commanders preparing to get Kuma before the clash and stuff with the Admirals, which is great. But then the part that took it for me, man, this is a biased reason, too, why this is up there for number 1, man. My girl is back in the game, coach. Jewelry Bonnie being back in the story, man. Listen, when I saw that old lady with, like, you know, the little macaroni ring thing on her face, I'm like, hold on, bro. You can't trick me like that. Y'all know who my top 2 girl is, man. You got Robin and you got Jewelry Bonnie, okay? And just seeing her, I was like, yo, Bonnie greatness in the Reverie. We know she's got history. She got ties with the goddamn world government. She's the same girl that said, look, that Rakan Inu had said, look, there was a shiver that went down my spine. The fact that you ended up escaping from us. And I was a little afraid of the fact that, you know, we were going to lose you. But now I got you again. Now the fact that she's back there. And we know now that the person she shed tears for was actually Kuma instead of Ace. Which killed my long-term hope that we were going to see something between, you know, Ace and Bonnie, a connection between the two of them. But now, the connection between Kuma and Bonnie, if you guys have not seen that video I did talking about that, you know, I really do believe that, like, you know, Kuma had adopted Bonnie at one point in time, possibly. And then that led to events afterwards where, to, you know, try and gain her back and rescue her and stuff, you know, he pretty much gave himself up to be like a warlord afterwards. You know, he became the tyrant by killing people to get closer to her after. It's just a whole thing if you want to see that for yourself. But it really made me happy the fact that we're now seeing her in here. The fact that she has ties to the world government and now getting to see, like, what role is she going to play now? Because now you're throwing in another piece into the puzzle after. It's like, you know, how is things going to work out exactly? But 908 in itself was beautiful, man. Like, just the fact that we know that the main antagonist of One Piece is here is enough to at least to be a top 3 chapter in the year. And for me, at least, from the long-term value of One Piece, it nailed it on the head right there, man. Like, just getting to see the main antagonist of One Piece right there and then, man, that's enough for it to be my number 1. But I'm curious to know what you guys think down in the comment section below, what your own top 10 list is. Let me know, even like your honorable mentions. I'll have mine again, like I said, in the pinned comments afterwards at the end of this video, so if you guys want to see for yourself what other, you know, chapters could have made the list and stuff. I know there's a couple in there, definitely, that I really wanted to put in here. At least, you know, if I have to do like my number 11, number 12 or something, they'll probably be in there as well. But I'll have that there in the pinned comment. But I'm curious to know what you guys think down in the comment section below, what you guys think of One Piece this year. Do you feel like this is the strongest year we've gotten thus far when it comes to the One Piece manga from a week-to-week standpoint? And when you guys are giving me your list, let me know. Are you doing it from issue 1 to 52 like I did from December 2017 until November 2018? Or are you waiting until after 9/28 comes out and you want to do it from January up until, you know, December of this year? Let me know down in the comments of what you guys think. Like the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new here. And again, a couple of other videos I kind of talked about that I had done prior, that if you want to see my thoughts on that in regards to, you know, the events that went down in One Piece this year for my top 10 chapters, those will be at the end of the video. And with that all being said, I will catch you guys for chapter 928 of the best-selling manga in history. And hopefully, kicking off will be one of the best years, hopefully, for One Piece. Look, if 2018 was a phenomenal year, one of the best, I'm hoping that 2019 matches that same energy. So, we're only going to find out afterwards once 928 comes out, and hopefully the rest of 2019, how that's going to be. So, Commodore Les signing off. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care.